Namaste friends, welcome back to your own channel which is Sanatana Dharma, and here we discuss topics related to Sanatana Dharma. Now first of all, let us address this very word Sanatana and try to understand what it really means. Now literally in Sanskritam, Sanatana means the one which is eternal. So the word meaning, if you look in the dictionary, is timeless, or that dharma which does not change with subject to time. Right? Now here we have to get into a little deeper than the material world, the way we think and the way we perceive things, and dive a little bit deeper and rest our mind and focus it on spirituality to really understand or to truly understand the inherent meaning here. So, as I've always said in my earlier videos, Sanatana is a word which is which signifies timelessness or eternity, forever. Now, how is this term so significant? Because in the world that we live in, which is composed of Prakriti, everything is subject to time, isn't it? If you really look at your everyday life, whatever we see and whatever we hear changes with time. Yeah? Whether it be tangible or anything intangible, it changes with time. So, for example, take something concrete. So, let's talk about our own home, yeah, the residence which we stay in. Do you think it changes with time? Yes, it does. That is why it requires repairs and maintenance regularly. Then, the other animate things or objects around us, our own children, pets, yeah, animals, the other insects, creatures, everything which crawls, everything which we see and hear is subject to change with time. Now, time is the factor which actually brings about change in form and transforms one form of energy into the other. Okay? So, what is this dharma which is time, which is not changing with respect to the time? Eh? For us to understand this, we have to understand what is dharma. Now, dharma in very colloquial terms has been misinterpreted to seem to be meaning that it is something which has got to religiousness or following of customs and traditions. But that is not so. Dharma is, in a very broader term, has deeper meanings or connotations. For example, suppose in a family there are different members playing different functions, yeah, different roles. Now, there is a new entrant in the family, whether it could be in the form of a new birth or it could be in the form of inviting someone home through forming a new bond or relation. In both these cases, when someone new is entering your home, your family, definitely the other members who are already there make place. Yeah, I could try and accommodate, make place for them, make place for the new person, new entrant. Not only that, they accustom the new person or acclimatize them into this particular environment so that everybody can have a healthy living, healthy life, correct? So this exactly is dharma, that is ensuring that every form of life is living its fullest potential, and in a manner which gives an experience of sukha. We also call this swastha bhavatu, which means swastha is composed of again two words, swa and stha. Stha is definitely being, and swa is in your own. Swa is one's own self. So being in one's own self, or being in one's own primordial nature, is being swastha or healthy. So, which in turn means that you do not have to face or experience any obstructions or diseases or any modifications from your own harmonial self. So keeping everyone healthy, swastha, and being able to experience the joys or sukha is called as dharma. Correct? So this dharma at what level is eternal? Now at the family level, or in the human level, the physical level of perception, is this really eternal? No, it keeps changing. Right? So the people whom we see today are going to disappear within certain frame of time, right? We say that we have lost somebody, but it is actually disappearance, appearance and disappearance in the physical form. Then comes the antakarana, or the mental and psychological plane of existence. Whether that is eternal? No, it is not. In what sense then? In the sense that this prana, or the antakarana, once in its journey, at least once in its journey, it comes to its fullest level of existence, and then gets evolved or merges into a higher being. Correct? For example, you take an ant, right? Or I'm sitting in a garden here, there are plants around, so let's take that example. So for example, the plant here which is right behind me is having its own physical form, and it definitely has its own prana or vital energy and antakarana. It definitely does not have the senses, 5 senses, the way humans do, but it has those 5 senses active within, internally, which is not visible to the human eye. That is how the plants grow, that is how they respond to the environment, respond to stimulus. Correct? And then they go through their own journey of life or existence. So in that sense, this psychology in antakarana of this plant, is that going to be eternal? No. Once the life form finds its completion in this particular plant form, plant existence, then it definitely emerges into a higher organism or a higher level, right? So from being immobile, it will definitely get into a higher circuit of having mobility. Say for example, a worm or an ant. So depending upon what it chooses, it will take another form. So ant and worms are still lower forms as compared to the hierarchical structure of existence that we see in nature. So these again, the antakarana of the plant and the ants and the worms again will merge into some higher existence, and from some being small tiny creatures, they might emerge into being something bigger, maybe a rat or a mouse, and then or a squirrel, from from that which lives on the earth, ground, to that which lives on trees and then may be able to fly, right? So at every stage it takes up succeeding or graduating higher levels. So that is how the antakarna also is not eternal, which means it changes with time. Then what then is eternal, or that which remains constant, unchanging with time, whether past, present or future, whether millions of years or even a fraction of a second. So right from the day the entire cosmos came into existence until today that we are able to experience this cosmos, there is something which has remained unchanged. So what is that? That, my friends, in one word, is the awareness, or we also term it as consciousness. Well, awareness and consciousness are again limiting terms which the English language is unable to do justify, and the Sanskritam term or the word used for this is Chaitanya, and Chaitanya is a guna which signifies or indicates that we are speaking about the Atman, or the Supreme Soul, or the source from which everything, all of this cosmos has emerged. So that is the only thing which is unchanging. Now, how is it related to dharma, which I have just explained you a few minutes ago, giving you the example of the new member entering the family, right? So Sanatana Dharma, come back to this again. So how is this eternal dharma, and how is it significant in our lives, and what potency it has to change the way we experience our life and make it full of bliss and happiness. So once we know that that everything, whatever we perceive through the mind, the sense organs, the eye, the nose, the ears, the skin through touch, and the taste. So these are the 5 sense organs: eyes, ears, nose through smell, skin through touch, and the taste, which is the palate, taste palate. So the 6 tastes are there which we are able to sense. Yeah. So these are gifts of Prakriti or nature. Now through this, so